Welcome back. Monica Lewinsky is back in the spotlight this morning with a highly anticipated new series premiering on FX tonight, Impeachment, American Crime Story. Monica is co-producer on the series, which covers her affair with then-President Bill Clinton and his subsequent impeachment. We're going to talk with Monica exclusively in just a moment, but before we get to our conversation, a look back at her journey. An affair.
Hi, handsome.
Hey.
And a betrayal.
I'm kind of in something.
Tell me about him.
It's just he's unavailable.
Someone long distance. Someone from work. Someone important.
Impeachment, American Crime Story has all the ingredients of a good drama. But in 1998, it was the reality for 24-year-old Monica Lewinsky.
Can you repeat your comments?
That's when an affair between Lewinsky and then-President Bill Clinton was revealed following a betrayal of friendship. Linda Tripp secretly recorded Monica confessing to her relationship. Those recordings and news of the affair posted on the Drudge Report.
Reports of a new sex scandal involving President Clinton, a young White House intern,
ultimately leading to the impeachment of President Clinton and the public shaming of Monica.
Overnight, I went from being a completely private figure to a publicly humiliated one worldwide. I was patient zero of losing a personal reputation on a global scale almost instantaneously.
Lewinsky avoided the spotlight for well over a decade until she went viral, speaking out about the price of shame in a TED Talk.
What did it feel like in that moment to come out and reclaim your story?
I can't even begin to tell you and what it feels like to be able to give a purpose to my past and to use these painful experiences to help other people.
She found her purpose first as an anti-bullying advocate, and more recently as a TV and film producer, co-producing the new FX series covering the darkest days of her life.
That's me, that's my face.
Now reclaiming her story through storytelling. Monica, good morning. It's good to see you. We've talked before over the years, but it's always been about a project or something, and now here we are talking about that time. And one of the most searing times of your life. How are you feeling right now in this moment?
I'm nervous. It's live TV. But other than that, you know, I've really worn two hats in this project. And so as a producer, I'm very proud. I'm really proud of the project, of the show. And as a subject, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
You know, I'm nervous for people to see some of the worst moments of my life and a lot of behavior that I regret. And if you remember your 20s, not that long ago, it was pretty cringeworthy.
Well, I think a lot of people will connect with that and relate to us. Help us understand how you got involved and why you wanted to get involved. I wondered if it was a matter of you wanting to be able to kind of tell your story on your own terms, and you wanted the story to be told, or was it more like, hey, they're going to do this anyway, so I might as well have a seat at the table?
You know, it's I've been incredibly lucky the last 6 or 7 years to really be able to reclaim my narrative. And so the opportunity to have a seat at the table around that was really meaningful to me. And then, of course, you know, Ryan Murphy. So the opportunity to work with him. And when Ryan and I first had dinner, sort of after the idea of the show came up, I really came to understand from him the vision he had around showing this from a perspective of three women who had been on the sidelines of power at the time. And that was compelling to me.
It's not a documentary.
No.
It's a dramatic series, but I found watching it, you know, you do wonder, especially because it has your blessing, how much of this is real? How much dramatic license is there? Did these conversations really take place like that? Did you really call Linda Tripp a treacherous B word? You know, like,
yes.
How real is it?
People will understand when they see the series why.
Yes.
But you know, it is a dramatization, but there is an enormous amount of emotional truth. And I think that's what was really important. I think people, you know, a lot of people know about this story, but people are going to be very surprised when they watch it of things that they didn't know happened. I mean, I myself there were so many margin notes I had in the scripts of like, did this really happen? So even I learned things.
And to be clear, you gave notes on the scripts. You were a producer.
Correct.
You didn't have veto power.
No, I didn't. I gave notes on the scripts, and Ryan was really incredible, and the team, and Brad and Nina and Sarah Burgess, the writer, that it was very much, I think the process was I felt heard, but being heard and listened to doesn't mean you're always going to get your own way. Yeah. And it was challenging at times to wear two different hats as a subject and producer. But
yes, sometimes what's best for the show might not have been what you would have wanted to see.
No, exactly.
Although there's a scene, and it was sort of an infamous moment in this whole scandal where you flash your thong underwear at the president.
I know.
But here's what's interesting about you, Monica. You told the producers you should include that scene. You pushed for it.
I did. Well, I was, as a subject, I was incredibly grateful when I saw that it was missing. But I realized as a producer that, particularly because I was involved, that the credibility of the show would have been significantly affected. And I didn't think that was fair to anyone else. But more than that was really, I shouldn't get a pass. So, and that is hard, a lot more therapy now, but, but I thought that was important. I think truth and context were really missing at the beginning of 1998 and throughout the process, and humanity. And I hope that those are all things that we brought to the show.
Anyone who has ever been a 23-year-old woman in the late 90s, as I have, and you have, you could really kind of connect with aspects of that personality and the way you think you know everything, but you really don't. Were there parts that were kind of painful to go back or to watch?
Oh, it was... I do not recommend watching your early 20s be dramatized on TV. So, I mean, especially in this instance where the truth really was stranger than fiction, and moments where I just thought, oh gosh, don't smile back. Don't talk to her. Don't confess. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't make bad decisions. I think that was hard. Really hard to see.
The story affects a lot of people, not just you, Linda Tripp, who has recently passed, the Clintons. Would you want Bill Clinton to see this series?
I don't even know how to really answer that. So, I don't.
Do you ever wish, you've also got a documentary, it's called 15 Minutes of Shame, and it looks at cancel culture. And I think you have such a poignant line. You say, if you woke up one day and everyone in the world knew your name, what kind of world would you want to live in?
Right.
Have things really changed all that much? What if this scandal happened in today's culture?
Well, I think there are two things. So if the scandal had happened in today's culture, the crisis had happened, I think it would be different. I don't know that it would be as different as people want to think it would be. But we are having conversations about power differentials in different ways. People, it's not just people in power who have voices. That's one of the beauty and the beast of social media, is that more people, more people can be heard. So I might have had a little bit of support, but I think, back to the doc, we're kind of what it really dovetails to is this sense that we're living in a culture and a world now where we're drowning in shame. And so we're taking a 360-degree look at this public shaming, public humiliation culture, and really trying to understand, ask the questions, how did we get here and where are we going?
You really have found a purpose to the pain that you went through, and you have found a way to weave your experiences into a real calling. I went back and looked at actually your authorized biography, and you said in it, when will this all be over? I want my life back. And at the same time, I'm scared I'll never be able to have the life I dream of. You talked about a family, and you said, maybe, just maybe, contentment. And I think a lot of people care about you, Monica, and they love to see you doing so well. Do you feel like you've found that peace and contentment?
I'm incredibly grateful. I'm really, really grateful. And now you made me emotional. But it's, there were a lot of moments where I wasn't sure I would make it through, and I have an incredible family and a lot of friends and a lot of helpers. So I think that really the takeaway, if anybody who's watching this is struggling or feels they've been shamed, is that you can get through it. So I think that really is the most important thing. And yeah, I have a lot of things that make me smile in my life right now. So very grateful.
You can get through it and you can shine. Monica, thank you. Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Savannah.
It's always good to talk to you. And again, the new series is called Impeachment, American Crime Story. It premieres tonight on FX.